Phoenix Wright. I seem to have developed a love-hate relationship with this series over the years. You teased us with Ace Attorney Investigations, and then only released Ace Attorney Investigations 2 in Japan. Thankfully, Ace Attorney 5 seems to be on its way over here, and it looks to be very promising. So, in commemoration of Ace Attorney 5's box art being released, I've compiled some random facts and trivia for the Ace Attorney series. The original game, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, was released in 2001 for the Game Boy Advance. The sequel, Justice for All, was released in 2002, and the third installment, Trials and Tribulations, was released in 2004. All of these were then released to the DS later on, which has led to some interesting inside jokes. The first game to be ported over, Ace Attorney, has an extra case added to it. This case both adds some interesting facts and some contradictions. The game the creators had worked on most recently was Trials and Tribulations, so the added case made a lot of connections to that game. Firstly, Detective Gumshoe, always the bumbling character, and Mr. Edgeworth, a most constant sidekick, notes that Mr. Edgeworth has been down lately, at least more so than usual. He then shows Phoenix a pamphlet for a new restaurant that had opened up recently, stating he was planning on treating Edgeworth there later. Looking closely at the pamphlet, one would notice the bright pink color and the large figure on it. If you've played Trials and Tribulations, you will recognize this as a pamphlet for Tresbien, a notoriously bad restaurant with a very flamboyant chef. Another connection to Trials and Tribulations is in the police chief Gant's office. There is a safe in his office, which Phoenix must open. The safe has a manufacturer's plate which reads KB Security, a security office which is the center of a case in Trials and Tribulations. Midway through the added case, Emma will give you a spray bottle of luminol testing fluid that can be used to detect cleaned up blood stains. There are certain places where the spray must be used to progress, but some interesting things can be found if you spray around a bit. In Edgeworth's office, spraying the floor in front of his desk will reveal a stain. Phoenix then speculates that it could be from a sudden spurt of anger at a certain detective. Another stain can be found in Jake Marshall's office at the tip of a spiky cactus. Again, it was speculated that a Western-themed detective tripped and hit his head on it. In Edgeworth's office, there is a picture frame with an incredibly ruffly jacket in it. This jacket was from Edgeworth's first trial, shown in Trials and Tribulations. While these connections are nice, this added case created one of the series' best contradictions. In Justice for All, Phoenix encounters Gumshoe for the first time in months, and they begin to speculate about the missing Mr. Edgeworth, while Maya, who has been absent for a few months, tries to keep up. Phoenix then mentions the last time he saw Edgeworth was during that case, in which Edgeworth was the defendant. Except that wasn't the last time Phoenix and Edgeworth crossed paths. Edgeworth was the prosecutor in the last case, aka the added case, in the game. This inconsistency makes no sense, but not thinking within the game universe, they simply added the new case and then couldn't be bothered and or forgot to make some changes in the next game. Another interesting thing in Justice for All is within the fourth case. Shelley D. Killer, the serial killer and assassin, has a rather interesting face. He has a long straight line of stitches down the middle of his face and a monocle. Phoenix even relates his face to a baseball a few times. In court, D. Killer makes his appearance through a walkie-talkie to keep his identity hidden. The irony about this, though, is that the device looks like him. It has a straight line down the center and a glass covering a dial where the monocle should be. Several characters within the Ace Attorney universe have interesting names. Some characters' names relate to real people, like Gregory Edgeworth, who is likely related to Gregory Peck, who played Atticus Finch, a famous defense lawyer in To Kill a Mockingbird. Another character's names sound like something usually related to their personality. For example, the attention-seeking Luke Abney. Just think about it for a second. Finally, some characters' names are actually palindromes, words that spell the same thing backwards, like Lisa Basil. Anyways guys, that's all the time I have for today, so I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to like and comment below. Maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see more. This has been Simply Press Start, where gaming is as simple as pressing start.